It's Becky. I am on a roll today with my videos. I think I've made like 4 videos today. So yes, as usual, I'm wearing the same shirt. So it's purple though this time. I think last time I said I hope you like pink. Well, this one's purple. So there we go. I did change shirts. But I wanted to give you guys some good ideas for field trips. I mentioned in my What I Love About Homeschooling video, which I'm not sure if that's up yet or not. If it is, it'll be linked in the bottom. I'll put my homeschooling playlist in the description box. But I talked about that I love being able to plan field trips, and I like to think of as many times as I can. I like to plan unique field trips. When we were in a co-op a couple years ago, they had a couple field trips and they were fun, and we still go to those type places, but I like to add ones that are not necessarily the same field trip that every child takes at the same time. They all go to the apple orchard and then they go that, I like to try to do unique things. So I have some suggestions for you guys, just to throw that out there in case you haven't thought of it. And obviously it depends on where you live. There's, if you live near a really big city, you might have more options than we do here. I don't really live near a big city, and we live in Kentucky, so there's not a whole lot of exciting stuff going on to do, but we don't mind to drive to Ohio if we need to. But I wanted to share some ideas for you guys to get you guys thinking if you're planning your field trips for next homeschool year, maybe to give you some ideas. So 2 things that locally I think would be fun would be the post office, and if you have like a local recycling center. We actually did a tour of the post office here a little bit ago, and I just called. I knew that they did it. There was a lady that like set it up, and I told her we're not in a big group. We're not part of a co-op this year, so we don't have the benefit of a big group, because sometimes it's easier to get field trips or cheaper pricing if you are in a big group. But the field trip to the post office was free, and I told them, I said, it's just the 4 of us, and is that okay? And she said sure. So they scheduled an appointment, and we went in and met with the supervisor of our local post office. And she took us in the back room and showed us like start to finish how they get the packages and how they sort them, and we actually got to see our little box where our address is, where our mail goes whenever they are sorting it. I thought that was kind of neat. And I think it was a really neat experience, and it's definitely something that my youngest daughter especially will want to maybe do again when she's older and can remember a little bit more. She's actually the one that brought up this idea, because she said one day, how does the mail get here? And I was like, good question. The post office in your area will not let you do a tour of it. You might be able to find a video online on like a Mr. Rogers or a Reading Rainbow video or something where they are showing kind of how all post offices work. But I just thought it was a really fun trip. It was free. It was something unique. And I know when I was in school, we never toured the post office. So I thought that was fun. Also, the recycling center, I mentioned this around Earth Day, but anytime really, it's a good time to go and see how something gets turned from trash into something else, or recycled, and cardboard boxes and bottles and things like that, instead of throwing them away, to encourage recycling and then show them when they recycle how those things are actually sorted and reused. I think it's a really great idea any time of year, but especially for Earth Day, but that's just a suggestion. Another thing would be to shadow a professional that you know. You couldn't probably shadow an ER doctor or somebody, but if you know anybody, or you yourself have a profession where they would be interested to see maybe the inner workings of it, like a lawyer or a vet tech or a dental hygienist, anything where they'd be allowed to go and kind of shadow you for a day to really see what you do or what your friend does. For a career, not only is a good idea just for educational purposes, but if you have an older child, it might really help them to get an idea of what really goes into a daily life of that profession, to help them choose a career. I know we did that with Career Day. What better way is there to see firsthand what really goes into the daily work of somebody who is in a certain profession? So kind of be thinking about your friends and your relatives and your neighbors and what they do, and if it's something they would be able to maybe go in for a couple hours and see what they do when they're at work. Another thing would be local manufacturing plants and factories. So anything like that, like if you have any kind of local factory that you're allowed to take tours of, just give them a call and say, hey, even if you're not with a group, we're a group of 4 or 3, can you give us a tour and show us around? And a lot of times they can, and they don't cost anything. So be thinking about what's in kind of a driving radius that maybe would have a factory that you could check out and see how that works. Another thing that I think is a great idea, and I mentioned this in my video a couple weeks ago, is a librarian. Go to your library and see if they have a program where you can meet with a librarian and they will show you whatever you want to know about the library. They can help you look up your family genealogy. They can help to show you how to research a paper. They can show you how to find a book, how to put the book back correctly on the shelf, and there's all different age appropriate leveled activities that they can do. Now, I don't know if everybody's library offers this. Our library does, and like I said, we are actually going to be doing that next week, where we have a 30-minute time slot with the librarian. I told her what I wanted her to do. I wanted her to really show my youngest daughter how to use a library. And I mentioned that in my video of 4 things not to forget to teach is library skills. As homeschoolers, sometimes you don't think about teaching your kids how to use the library because everything is on computer. It's so easy to go online, type in your book. The librarian goes and gets your book and puts it on the shelf. All you have to do is walk in the library and pick it off the shelf where they have it on hold for you. There's not as much work involved anymore. There's not as much like looking it up and finding the right section and then knowing how to reshelve the book. Things like that I think everybody should know how to do. And I think it's something that is going to be a skill that we're going to keep working on with them. One thing I wanted to mention, and I had planned on doing a homeschooling discount video, but it was just kind of hard since so many people live in so many different places that they all have different opportunities and things available to them. But for us, I know the Cincinnati Zoo has a homeschooling discount. So you go online, I think I actually called them too, but there's a way to do it online, I believe, where you sign up, you tell them the name of your homeschool, and you get really, really discounted tickets for being a homeschooler. I think it was like $18 for the 4 of us to go to the zoo. And that's an amazing saving. So if you homeschool, be thinking about the zoos and the aquariums and all the places near you that might have a homeschooling discount. And call them up and ask them or check their website. But I think it's a great way to when you do have to go out on field trips, it's a great way to save some money on that and not have to be in a big group to get a big discount. It really helped out with us, and it probably would you too. So do a little bit of research and digging around, make a few phone calls. So that might help you out. The last thing I want to say is if you don't live near somewhere that has maybe a lot of different interesting types of field trips, or if you have run dry on ideas, the internet is a great resource for virtual field trips. There's quite a few places that I found online. I'm going to link them all below, so I'm not going to tell you each specific one. But I'm sure there's tons on top of the ones that I have found that you can do. But it's like virtual 360-degree tours of museums and all these different places. Or there's some videos that you can find of like a virtual walkthrough of a certain facility or event or something like that. So don't forget to utilize the internet. There are tons of free ways that you can take a virtual field trip and learn a lot without ever having to leave your house. It saves you money, it saves you time, and it might be a good idea if your kids are getting bored and you want to have like a field trip day but you don't really know where to go. Then hop on the internet, find some virtual field trips, use these links, things like that. There's great options. So the internet is an amazing resource for you as a homeschooling parent. So make sure you're using it to your advantage. I'll have the links for the places that I found down below, but let me know if you find any other ones that are really good virtual field trip type places. I would be interested to know if you find any of those. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my other videos. I talk about other things besides homeschooling. I talk about home organization and fitness and health and Disney. I talk about that quite a bit. And so I have a lot of videos on my channel and I upload at least once a week. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.